What's up, guys? It's TRT77, and this week on Captain Profiles, we have Ari of the Banter Babies. Before we jump into the interview, guys, I just want to mention that the Cult of Tyler Fister, had a week one bye because, again, seven teams, so one team always ends up getting a bye each week. And we got a bye with week one, and week one was obviously extended because of the duration of the draft. It's basically 1.5 weeks. So our first games will probably commence from, the Monday after you see this, and most likely our weekly recaps will be the week after this. So hopefully by maybe next weekend we should have all the games done, and we will have the recap video up for our team then. Now I'm just gonna jump right into the interview with Ari. Alright, Ari, we're on now, and I'm gonna start off with the same question I started with Gao last week. Did you have a particular strategy or player you were looking for to the beginning of the draft, or like who you were nominating? Did you have like a particular way you were going to go about it?
I did not have a particular player that I wanted to go for. I did have a strategy, and I wanted to draft a team that had players that could play at least 2 formats, or I had at least 2 players per format, so that I do not auto-lock someone into the format. So as soon as Tago was nominated for the first pick, I knew I had to go for him, because between in our community of people who were actually put up for auction, I think it's only Tago, Clay, and Lambo who have a significant knowledge of all the 4 formats that were being put. So
yeah,
Tago was a star shot pick for me, and then from there on I just had the same logic behind every pick. Picking up solid players which can play multiple formats, and I'm very happy with my team.
absolutely. And also you were really brave to go for Tago first pick, because no one actually understood, I think at that point, what the price a player would go for at that point was, considering the budget change from last season. So in the end, what you got him for, I still think is a steal. I think you got him for like 39,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. I still think that's a huge steal. Okay, moving on. The next question. What's the reason or meme behind the team name Banter Babies? And I have the logo on the screen here.
So, the logo has gone through multiple changes. Not multiple changes, but initially I just saw an art of Kapchu and I thought that it was super cute. And it was a baby. So I wanted something babies. And so I thought that I should have a word before babies that started with B. I just choose Banter. That is how Banter Baby came. Then I could not find the same image of Kapchu ever again.
Oh my god.
I ended up with all these starters, and then I just added them.
Yeah, it is an adorable logo. Like, it was I think Gao had the more meme-worthy logo, because he had like the Mighty Magikarp, so the Magikarp and like ripped Ash and Go on the side, but like this is a lot more adorable.
Yeah, I just typed in cute baby Pokemons. They were so adorable, so I just added them to the logo.
Alright, and now, okay, so we have 4 formats. Usum, Oras, Natdex, and ADV. Which of the formats is your favorite, your personal favorite? And what you probably 100%. Go for? ADV?
Yeah, it is. When I started playing Pokemon, I started in Gen 8. So Natdex is obviously the format that I played the most. But I think it was Lambo and Clay and Tago who started playing other formats apart from Natdex in the normal calls that we usually are in, and so I was encouraged to play ADV and other formats, and I was very hesitant about playing ADV when I first fathomed the thought of no physical special split. But ADV is surprisingly a very balanced meta, and it is actually very fun. I really like ADV.
So
if it was not ADV, I would have gone for DPP.
Yeah. it's a basically we know that you obviously based on the lineups for this week, you're not playing this week for your team. So if we see you come in, do you think it's going to be in ADV, or which of the formats do you think you'll probably come in on?
As I said before, I think the biggest plus point of my team is the flexibility of what player playing what format. So, depending on the matchup and how a person plays, I think that is how we are going to adjust our matchups and who is playing a particular format. So, definitely, I think I'll be playing one of ADB or Nat decks, but I am very confident with the players I have in my team and how much support that they give during preps, that almost anyone in our team can play any format.
Absolutely.
Like Xerxes is playing Oras this week, and looking at the prep, Xerxes looks very well prepped, and he has never played Oras before. I think that is a very big plus for our team.
That is great.
Flexibility that anyone can play any format.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. I haven't seen much of Xerxes, so I'm really looking forward to that game. Moving on to our next question. So, who is the one player, either early or late in the draft, that you thought, or in the auction, sorry, that you thought got away from you?
So during the draft, like in different phases, I had players. Like I did not have a draft planned out initially. So during the auctions, in different phases, I had different players that I had an eye on that got away. Like early on, I really wanted to draft you because I knew that you played Oras a lot, and Oras is a format that I'm not particularly comfortable with. So I thought that I really wanted to pick you, but the price that you went for, I really could not afford that. And I think your team struggled because of that as well.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the draft, I really was hoping that people somehow missed the fact that Pokécraft was picked up. And soon as when Pokécraft was put on board and it hit 11.5, which was like outside everyone's reach, it was really sad. And probably late draft, I really wanted to draft Lelouch because I have seen him play last season. He's a really good player. He also seems like a really cool guy, which is really good for a team to have people who are interactive and are generally positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Team chemistry, yeah. I think, yeah.
I'd say those three people were the ones that went off. Of course, not having players like Clay, Lambo, you, and so many others is obviously a little disheartening. But so I never expected once I got Tago to be able to actually bid for them.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think Pokécraft was basically on everyone's plans, which is kind of ironic because I was on VC with Fist after he got me in Lambo, and I was like, we have 17k left. I think we just wait. We'll see. I was trying to tell him that Pokécraft is gonna fly under the radar. No one's gonna see him because he's not been. I think he wasn't there in the recent ISL, and I was just like, someone's gonna miss him. We're gonna be able to swoop in. And then Gao also tells me that he was also going for Pokécraft, and I was like, oh my god, every single team had this man on that draft board.
I think Pokécraft only plays ISL from the drafts that we commonly have, and he consistently makes playoffs. He's a really good player.
He really is, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe because he does not get in VCs as usual as every one of us does.
Yeah, that could be a factor as well. It's the sort of thing that I thought that, there's probably someone people won't know as much. But moving on.
Yeah. I was hoping this.
Yeah. Moving on with our next question. So, who's the player on your team or any of the other teams? Someone who's maybe less known or not one of the big names in this tournament that you think is going to surprise everyone this season and pick up some clean dubs?
In general, more or less, we know how most of the people who are in the auction play. Is we have already had one season of this tournament. It was more or less the same set of players who are playing. but there are a few new additions to that, and I feel that most of the picks on my team are like valued way lower than they should have been. Like getting Tago for the price I got him, getting Bobby and Drake for the price that I got them. They were like steals. But I'm really happy with how the other three players on my team are doing as well. Like, I have seen Bodnok play, and he went really late and particularly cheap as well. I think that he's a really good player who can get us some wins. I'm also very impressed with how much, like, how high Xerxes' learning curve is. Like he's playing Oras this week, and he has not played the format before. But the rate at which he's learning the format is really impressive, and I think that getting him for 3K was really cheap, and he is going to be like one of the steals for the tournament.
Okay, so you heard it here with Ari. He's backing, just like Gao, he's backing his own bench strength here in when we're talking about sleepers. I'm really looking forward to the Xerxes Primal game. It hasn't happened yet. It's something I'm really looking forward to as well. Moving on, our next question is, how confident did you feel in the individual drafts you had, and which draft do you think was the best? Which draft do you think you could have maybe done slightly better in? And what was your overall draft strategy, if there was one that was common to the drafts? And we'll just put up your drafts on here.
Yeah, I like. We had a common strategy of trying to draft a team that was usable by most, if not all, the players in our team. And I think our Ultra Sun Ultra Moon draft is really good. It is so good. I really like our Natdex draft. Our ADV draft has a very solid core. And being able to get Duck Trio so late for the core of Milotic Celebi place again is also very valuable. Our ORAS draft is a draft that was hindered a bit by the snipes that happened to it, but I still think that it is a very solid draft, and it has really good matchups against most of the teams. So I think that our drafts are really solid, and in most cases it will depend on our individual skills as well, how well we are able to pilot it. And I'm very confident that my team that we'll get some wins from each of the drafts. But our strategy was very simple: look at what other people are drafting, look at what we have in plan, and plan the picks accordingly, instead of just going for higher round picks early in the draft and then looking for what lower mons are available. Instead, we went for cores that we wanted to draft around, and looking at what others have already drafted, keeping the mons that are not going to be drafted, because like everyone is a competent drafter.
Yeah.
Based on that fact, we kept few mons that were not going to be picked till the end.
And like it was, that's obviously a very noticeable trend. You have third last round Mega Mawa and Natdex. You have Zapdos Chomp, which I think you guys got with like the pseudo wheel pick in Oras. And then you had Dougie going last in ADV. You had Alt Mega and Taunty late in Usum. So I think the counter draft strategy was great. We'll see how it works out in practice, but I saw based on your week 1 matchups, it worked out quite well, I'd say.
Yeah, I really like our teams are like good in principle by themselves, so that they have particularly good matchups against few teams as well. So that is something that we really like about our team.
Alright, moving on. Which team, either based on the players or the individual team matchups, like suppose you think you have maybe more than maybe one or more or two or more like matchups which aren't very favorable between different formats, which team do you see as your biggest threat in that on either front?
I think Lamau is the team that I think is the biggest competitors for us.
Mm-hmm.
They, of course, have play who, like we all know, he's a really, really good player. He can
Mm-hmm.
play across all four formats and be equally potent. They also have like Craft and Lemon and Blitz for really cheap. We have seen Ilux perform last season. He was on the winning squad that like on Scrappers, and Dago can probably vouch that he is a player that can get you some wins.
Mm-hmm.
Trip this season won DDL low league. Like I think he won D League this season. He is a really good player as well, and they have a lot of players that went for rather cheap. Like I said about my team, like there were players who went for cheap. They were also like not as much of a steal as Lamau has with a few of their picks. Because
Yeah.
they spend like 50k per clay.
Yeah. So yeah,
So, yeah, that is a team that has a lot of good players, and I think that it's a really good team.
Okay, and you also forgot to mention Shaded, which is ironic. The captain.
I mean,
it's kind of
it
just
is
but yeah, it was
Yeah.
funny. But moving
It's
on.
not that he's a really good player, and I don't think we need to mention him being.
Yeah,
one of the
no,
top
no.
players.
I'm just pulling it like. So, okay, what is your prediction today? I mean, we've only seen 3 games. I think it's only been 3 or 4 games that have happened thus far. But if today I had to ask you which 4 of the 7 teams would make playoffs, which 4 would be in your pick? Obviously, you can pick your own team. Which other 3 teams
Yeah,
do you think?
we are winning this. Apart from us, like I already said, Amao is a team that I think will qualify for the playoffs if
Yeah.
they apply themselves properly. I know players on the Rare Sanctuary are like they have undeniable skills. They are really good players.
Mm-hmm.
Like from top to bottom, they have good players. But that is also a team that like it's a group of really close friends, so there is chance of leniency, but at the same time there is good chemistry. I don't know whether they'll be taking this all really seriously or not, but if they are a really, really solid team. They might be lacking in a format, like they don't have a particular player who plays ADV a lot,
Yeah.
but you can still like patch that up. Like, so
Yes.
I think they are also a team that is really scary. Apart from that, I like the look of unknown skills as well,
Mm-hmm.
with King Rock and Polo and Film and Zeros Austin. They have a really good core of play that we already know are like who perform well. They also have G-Fry for 2K, which was an absolute steal. We have already seen him beat Craft this season.
Mm-hmm.
And Lelouch, we have seen last season, is a really good player. I don't remember their drafts by heart, but I hope that they don't have Verticon.
I am pretty sure we
apart
have
from that,
Verticon, but yeah.
They do have Verticon and Ultrasun Ultra Moon.
Oh, they have an
I
ultrasound,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, but no, they are a team that is also really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's obviously going to be very close. Like he has players of like more or less the same caliber across the board. But I think that based on the best foot that they can put forth, I think these are the 4 teams that I would not be surprised if they make playoffs.
You're sleeping on us, Ari. You're gonna regret that in week 2. Moving on that note, moving on to the last question.
He spent way too much on.
I think maybe you guys are underestimating
Imagine
our
paying
bench
that much
depth.
for TRD. My God.
That's probably true. They paid way too much for me. Fist got fleeced. But moving on to the last question on this very note. What's some trash talk you got for the other captains and their teams?
I don't need trash talk, bro. We are winning this. This is undeniable. We have got a busted core of players. We also have this that even I did not know were as good as they are.
Mm-hmm.
Contribution that every person has been putting forward. is really good. I really appreciate that I was able to draft this.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, I don't think that we will be dropping a single week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I have to say,
take it
I
as you
admire the confidence, even however unrealistic it may be.
uh-huh.
I mean, I believe in you guys. I love a lot of the guys in your teams, and I know you guys are very capable of going 5-1. But week 2 is ours. That's not changing.
5-1, he said.
Yes, 5-1. Yeah,
But
because
you guys
I'm not.
lost.
I have.
You guys already lost to bye. I don't want to talk to you.
Dude, the bye week is undefeated. There's none of us can beat the bye week. Doesn't matter if you have who you have on your roster. But on a serious note, I really appreciate you coming on, Ari. We did have technical difficulties, and I'm really glad you stuck with me through them. Thanks for coming on. And you got one last message for our viewers?
Hashtag baby.
Alright, guys, you
Why
heard
I
it.
said that? Well, I love my team so much.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. So that's gonna be it from us, guys. Next week we will have captain of Lamau here, Shaded Eel himself, and we will keep this series going. This has been really fun, but that's gonna be it from us. This is TRT77, and this is me signing off.